My name is Lily. Welcome to Podcast, not a part of the Billionaire Podcast Network. Fill her up, deet da dee, cha-ching bing bing bing. Where Are the Loud Boys? Part 1. Joe Gorman, failed father, COVID survivor, feminist, notorious hogger. Now entering his 40s and performing comedy for over a decade, Joe has attained no real credits outside the short-lived and wild The Loud Boys podcast, featuring Sir Robbie Goodwin and Dalton Lee Pruitt Esquire. The Loud Boys abruptly ended when the proud Texas state native Pruitt was hospitalized by a psyop attack executed by the CIA. Both Gorman and Goodwin went to start new podcasts while Pruitt would undergo years of psychological recovery. Due to insecurities, unwarranted bashing and gaslighting of his fellow co-hosts, with no real passion to be anything other than the stoner persona comedian that perpetually performs at open mics and following two other failed podcasts, Joe now appears periodically on shows in the independent Gas Digital network, such as The Queen Wop. Shannon Lee hires The Thing Is Ding, the Puerto Rican Rattlesnakes Real Ass podcast, and the international superstar Zach Amico's Midnight Spook Show. Now a moment to thank our sponsor, Sobe. Try the all-new Sobe Elixir Liz Blizz Pina Colada. It looks and tastes like cum. Drain a lizard. Now back to Podcast. Despite being featured on multiple shows on the network multiple times, Joe has never been invited to be on the network's flagship show, Legion of Skanks, and their infamous festival, Skankfest. Former co-host and first billionaire podcaster Dalton Lee Pruitt was recently given an open invitation to return by the festival creator, known serial monogamist, honorary Jamaican Louis J. Gomez, despite not speaking with him for almost 2 years. Begging the question, will Joe be featured at the next Skankfest? Now a moment to thank our sponsor, Thai Airways. Experience the all-new internet sensation of poor Thai women dressed in scantily clad clothing, making street food on TikTok and Instagram, but in person. Use discount code FIDANCE at thaiairways.com to receive 5% off your trip and 1 free Uber ride to the city's premiere, Lady Boy Brothel. Now back to Podcast. Joe can also be seen regularly on former co-host Robbie Goodwin's new podcast, What About Robbie, with co-host Nick Mullen Jr., where Joe himself recently mentioned keeping a calendar for when underage girls finally turn 18. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Podcast the Pod on X, formerly known as Twitter, for future episodes of Podcast and the continuation of Where Are the Loud Boys, Part 2, Robbie Goodwin, future ex-husband of Femoid. Lily signing off.